Hey guys, thank you for watching the SlatRock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get all notifications from this channel. If you've already done that, just make sure you have it so you're still getting all of our notifications. Today we present you with the top 10 wrestling careers we wish had lasted longer in WWE. Number 10. Lita. Lita was a diva who always kept the WWE Universe on their toes, whether she was flying high with the Hardy Boys as part of Team Extreme or shocking censors alongside Edge. Lita rose to fame in WWE when she made her WWE debut in 2000 alongside S.A. Rios. Lita's long and heated rivalry with Trish Stratus began soon after Trish's debut, and the two first locked horns while Trish managed Test and Albert against Lita's Hardy Boys. Lita's WWE career lasted just 6 years. She retired at the age of 31, having battled neck problems for the better part of 5 years. We'll never know just how great she could have become, especially given the opportunity to work with some of the women for whom she helped pave the path. The four-time women's champion was also involved in many memorable storylines and feuds that can't be easily forgotten. Number 9. Mick Foley. Call him the unpredictable Cactus Jack, or the demented hippie Dude Love, or my personal favorite, Mankind. Mrs. Foley's baby boy is one of the WWE's most unlikely success stories. As Cactus Jack, he earned a cult following not for winning matches, but for surviving them. Who can ever forget his match against Big Van Vader where he lost his ear, and the brutal third-degree burns he suffered in Japan in an exploding ring? Foley made a name for himself as a death-defying fearless wrestler in Japan, WCW, ECW, and even WWE. And fans growing up in the Attitude Era will forever remember the legendary Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker. The unforgettable image of Foley's body artlessly plummeting to the ground below defined not only his career, but WWE's Attitude Era as a whole. His toothless sneer became a cheesy smile. His trusty 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire was replaced by a sock puppet named Mr. Socko. Now a fan favorite, Foley thrilled audiences by beating The Rock for the WWE title in 1999, and surprised them even more when he published his insightful New York Times best-selling autobiography, Have a Nice Day, A Tale of Blood and Sweat Socks. Sadly, but very rightly, the hardcore legend called it quits in 2000 after losing a Hell in a Cell match to Triple H. Although we're sad that his career as a full-time active wrestler in WWE was short-lived, we're happy for the fact that he's having a good time after his retirement and became part of the WWE Hall of Fame. And yes, Foley is God. Number 8. Trish Stratus. Trish's departure from the wrestling business at the tail end of 2006 seemed to catch even WWE by surprise. The company didn't really have any female performer of a comparable profile, and spent the next few years searching, and mostly failing, to find someone to spearhead the women's division in her absence. But it's not just that we lament her bringing a premature end to her career because she was better than the alternative. Trish can stake a legitimate claim to the title of WWE's greatest ever female wrestler. Like longtime rival Lita, she was just a little over 30 when she called it a day, and surely had many more great matches left in her locker. Number 7. Edge. This guitar collector who grew up listening to Kiss received a developmental contract with the WWF in 1997. However, he rose to fame during the beginning of the Attitude Era when he was part of The Brood, a stable comprised of Gangrel, Christian, and of course, Edge. Soon after, E&C made Sweet Music as a tag team. They put their body through hell day in and day out to entertain the fans and will forever be remembered as one of the best as 7-time tag team champions. Of course, tag teaming wasn't Edge's only specialty. From his voluminous hair to his long leather jackets and double-horn signature pose, the Rated R Superstar was ready for singles action. He smashed through the WWE's glass ceiling after cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase on John Cena in 2006, marking the beginning of perhaps the most prolific 5-year main event run in the history of the company. In fact, the Rated R Superstar had held the world title on some 11 occasions by the time he called it a day in 2011. On the April 11, 2011 episode of Raw, Edge gave an emotional speech about his career and the realities of wrestling. He said he took further tests to his basic strength tests, and an MRI result forced him to retire. Leading up to this announcement, he had reflected on his previous neck injury and cervical vertebral fusion, and felt numbness in his arms. This was diagnosed as cervical spinal stenosis, and doctors would not clear him to compete for risk of neck-down paralysis or even death should he take a hard enough fall. This rated R superstar, who kickstarted the "You Suck" chant for Kurt Angle's entrance music, provided wrestling fans with some memorable moments. On one hand, we're happy that he'll lead a pain-free life, while on the other hand, we're sad that his career ended a little too soon. Number 6. Steve Austin. After ditching the ringmaster character, Stone Cold Steve Austin became the blue-collar warrior for the common man. This badass Hall of Famer was one of the biggest phenomena wrestling ever saw, and it's fair to say WCW would have won the Monday Night Wars if not for him. At his peak, Austin was almost certainly the biggest star in professional wrestling history, and yet his mega run was fairly short-lived. He claimed his first world title in 1998 and wrestled his last match almost exactly 5 years later. He was forced to retire from in-ring competition in 2003 due to a series of knee injuries and a serious neck injury. With 6 WWE Championship reigns, a hell of a lot of memorable and unforgettable moments, and a record 3 Royal Rumble wins, and the corresponding Mania main events that came with them, the man undeniably crammed a hell of a lot into that time. Still, we never got to see Austin against Lesnar, nor Austin against Goldberg, nor, for that matter, Austin against Hogan, just because of all the neck issues he's had. WWE fans could only get 8 years of Austin in the company. Number 5. CM Punk. Believe in yourself. That's been Punk's mantra for years. A lot of the skepticism thrown his way throughout the years came because Punk was always miles away from being the prototypical pro wrestler. He never had the look. Not sculpted, not especially intimidating, never larger than life. Punk looked more like the frontman of a punk band than a WWE superstar. That didn't prevent him from eventually storming into WWE's top tier, though. CM Punk was the talk of the business from 2011 when he cut his famous pipe bomb promo. From being a guy who was not taken seriously to a WWE champion who held the belt for 434 days was quite spectacular. He remained WWE's most popular star up until 2014, when his pent-up frustration with the company reached its boiling point. In 2014, Punk walked out of WWE and was eventually released in June of that year. Looking at the landscape of WWE today, it's agonizing to know that Punk will never mix it up with this new era. That being said, it would be fantastic to see Punk having another badass rebel-type run in WWE. Number 4. Brian Pillman. An honorary member of the Hart family, Brian Pillman also practiced in the family dungeon and was personally mentored by Stu Hart himself. A longtime member of WCW and ECW, Pillman was a crowd pleaser, with top rope maneuvers and an unstable gimmick. By the time he arrived in the WWE, however, his career was already on its downward trajectory. A prior car accident left him in a coma and shattered his ankle, which forced him to change his wrestling style. He had a brief feud with Stone Cold, which saw him pull a gun on the Texas Rattlesnake. And then, suddenly, Pillman was dead, the unlucky victim of an undetected heart condition. Number 3. The Rock. You can call him the Great One, the People's Champion, or the most electrifying man in all of entertainment, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The first third-generation superstar in WWE history, the man born Dwayne Johnson was destined for sports entertainment. The Rock was the WWE's biggest star, and as a result, gained a huge following in Hollywood, due to his mega wins at the box office in The Mummy Returns and later The Scorpion King. Soon after the release of The Scorpion King, The Rock came back to WWE, but after a brief run as a heel in 2003, he finally decided to leave. He made his return for a short stint, but again, his priority was with Hollywood. The Rock could have had so many memorable feuds in the mid-2000s as he was still on top of his game, wrestling-wise. Number 2. Owen Hart. After years of putting on good matches as the masked Blue Blazer as enhancement talent, wrestler Owen Hart began climbing the ladder of success when he teamed with established star, brother Bret the Hitman Hart. A feud with Bret elevated Owen from the mid-card, and while his ascent was slow, he eventually won the Intercontinental Championship on 2 separate occasions, as well as the WWF Tag Team Championship 4 times, the European Championship once, and 1994's King of the Ring tournament. Sadly, Owen perished in a stunt gone wrong at 1999's Over the Edge pay-per-view, where he fell to his death while being lowered into the ring. Wrestling fans and experts will forever debate whether Owen would have won the WWE Championship had his career continued. It's sad to digest the fact that Owen lasted just 8 years in WWE. Number 1. Eddie Guerrero. Guys, very few superstars in WWE history were more beloved than Eddie Latino Heat Guerrero. He was praised for his technical abilities, infectious charisma, and brutal honesty when it came to showcasing his real-life personal struggles. Eddie made a name for himself in ECW, WCW, WWE, and many more independent promotions. Guerrero abused steroids, alcohol, and prescription painkillers, but instead of trying to hide these problems, he gave permission to incorporate some of them into his storylines. He wrestled with his demons the same way he wrestled his opponents, in front of an audience. Eddie died of heart failure on November 13, 2005 at the age of 38, but not before engraving his name in all the hearts of wrestling fans. As fate is not without a sense of irony, his first autobiography, Cheating Death, Stealing Life, The Eddie Guerrero Story, was published a week prior to his death. Eddie, who won several championships in his professional life, had the unique ability to make fans love him whether he was a heel or a face. His philosophy of lie, cheat, and steal may not get you very far in the real world, but inside a professional wrestling ring, it was one of the most popular mantras that bought his fame and success. In 2012, WWE.com named Guerrero as one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, and in 2014, they named him one of the top 5 wrestlers in the history of SmackDown. His career in the WWE lasted just 5 years. Although Eddie had a great wrestling career, it's so sad to see the manner in which he left us. We wish this technical genius would have stayed on for a little longer. Well guys, that's our list. Who didn't make this list that you wish would have lasted longer in the WWE? Leave us a comment below and let us know. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and as always, thanks for watching.